Hello friends, welcome to Edwiki Learning channel. Please do subscribe to get more updates on the DevOps concepts. This video is part of the full course AWS DevOps Practitioner training. Please do check the description below to get the link for the complete full course. Without further delay, let's get into the video. Thank you.
I think we spend enough time, right, as an introductory session, understanding certain basic terminologies like what is infrastructure, what is a data center, what is operating system, the different kind of operating systems that are available, right, and what is application there, and the dependencies and the sequence of learning start from the infrastructure towards the application to understand what is our goal, guys, by end of the course, by end of the 3 months of time, right? What is the goal where we are at to be, right? So we should understand the whole technology, how it will be implemented in the backend to make the web applications go live and accessible, isn't it? Is that the goal that we have? You can always comment to me on the chat window, right? So yes, that is what it is, right? As of now, you guys are going and doing the shopping on your favorite shopping portals, on shopping websites. But how those websites are working, how the websites are running, that the behind technology, that what we are trying to learn, because tomorrow you are going to work as an engineer to make that go live, right? That's the goal, right? So to reach the goal, right, and yes, first we need to learn the infrastructure knowledge, then the OS knowledge, then the application knowledge. That's the dependency that we do have, right? Now, so let me give you a few more introductory terminologies, right? So to get into the actual core technology part, okay? So I'll introduce you what is a cloud computing in this slide, okay? So we already know that usually there will be a data center. Data center is the kind of a big building floor, right? The floor where there are number of racks, and in each rack there is a system, right? And those are connected, right? So what is system basically, right? So if you just come and look for the system, let's say I'm just searching for images. All this is just to give you some terminology introduction, guys, okay? You already familiar about the system, right? Maybe you'll be having the big CPU, a monitor, right? Uh, which we call it as a system, right? And here you can see a lot of systems, okay? You see that this is the system, kind of a CPU, and backside I can see number of ports, right? And some hard drives, some, the fans to make this cool, right? To beat this temperature situations, all these things, right? And in the first image, we can see some data center there. In this data center, a lot of racks. In each rack, there are some systems kept together. Each and every system is really doing some work to make your applications are running, your shopping applications are running, right? So that's how it works, right? So here I wanted to introduce one more new terminology called server, okay? Server, system, both are same, okay? So if you look into one more image here, right, the server and the systems, okay, the server and system both are same, okay? So don't go in deeper and deeper to know exactly the difference between system and server. For now, you just understand that the system and server both are same, both are having processor, hard, right, the memory, hard disk, right, basic hardware, and some networking, right? This is pretty much system, right? So now onwards, I will be using the terminology called server. So wherever I'm referring it as a server, understand that that is just a system, whatever the system that you guys usually know, nothing much difference, okay? Now coming back to here, so can I use this statement at this time? If I want to run my shopping portal application, right, I would need one simple server where I need to configure that server to make my website accessible and available. Is it the right statement, guys? What is that I need in order to run my shopping portal website like at shopper.com? I just need one server. Is that the right statement now? Right? The server means a system, a computer basically, right? I just need one computer where my application has to run and make it available. And that computer should be in a data center. And this is the data center, right? So usually having one system or having one server is not enough to run a big shopping applications. You go to Amazon shopping portal today to purchase some product. To maintain that whole website, one server is not enough, right? So that's the reason there will be multiple servers put together in a racks, and we maintain a big data center to manage that stuff. How to do? We'll definitely learn the things, right? So that's the reason whenever you have a big data center to maintain your entire uh, website, right? And now I need more employees, right? Now you can see here a lot of engineers are actually working from their particular system, and from their systems these engineers are actually connecting to the systems that are in the data center, and they will do some configuration, right? And settings, all these things like how the website has to be running, all the required settings will be done by these guys. Think of like these are all like DevOps engineers sitting and working hard to do some changes on the systems that are in the data center. They will be connecting to the systems which are in the data center using the network, all these things. Okay. Now, let's say I wanted to run my shopping portal web application, right? So definitely now I need a systems or a servers. So I'll purchase a server, I'll maintain one data center by my own, and I'll maintain the racks, cabling, connectivity, hard drive, capacity, temperature conditions, a lot of things, right? It's not so easy to maintain a data center, right? So there are a lot of challenges are there. But somehow, yes, to if my goal is I want to run a shopping portal website, and that's where I wanted to run a business, and yes, definitely I need to maintain a data center by my own. That is called as a customer managed data center, and where my employees are connecting and doing some things there, right? So which is also called as a on-premises data center. On-premises is a terminology that tells that right, the data center that is actually owning, maintaining by the customer itself. Here, when I say or when I use the terminology called customer, is mean that the business owner, like whoever is running the business or whoever is owner of the business, whoever is owner of the website, in other way, right? So that guy itself has to purchase and maintain their own data center, right? That setup is called as a on-premises data center. Tell me guys, or talk to me, how would do you think it's easy to maintain a on-premises data center? Not really, right? So maybe I have a fashion to run my shopping portal website. That's where I wanted to do some online sale business. It's not so easy to get into there because I need to manage my whole data center stuff, right? So maintaining my own on-premises data center has a lot of challenges, as I said some time back. Just to repeat again, physical security, logical security, hardware warranty, hardware guarantee, the whatever the softwares that we use, software licenses, maybe operating system licenses, right? The failures, replacement, temperature conditions, just to call out few things, security problems, right? It's not so easy. The biggest challenging that I wanted to highlight here in on-premises data center is capacity planning. Believe me, guys, initially you may feel bored because of the more theoretical, but this knowledge is definitely helpful when you are working tomorrow. Okay. So when I say capacity planning, let's say I want to run a shopping website to do my online sale business. Good. For that, I need a server. Good. How much capacity of the server that I need to buy? How do I know that? Correct. When I say capacity, how many processors that I need, how much memory that I need, how much storage space that I need, how many servers that I need, how do I calculate this capacity to meet my business needs. Forget about the business, come for the simple use case. Let's say you wanted to go and purchase a simple laptop. The very first thing that comes into mind is configuration, right? Now you need to decide what is the configuration of the laptop that you wanted to buy. Like when I say configuration, which processor, how much memory, how much hard drive capacity that you are looking for, and maybe some features. How do you decide, guys? Usually, any comment on the chat window? On what basis you are going to decide, right? What will be the compute, ideal configuration that you would need to purchase a laptop to fulfill your specific use cases that you have. Use cases will be different, right? Some people may purchase a laptop basically to watch movies, maybe to do some, general browsing, maybe right to do some business related activities, maybe for online games. Different people has different requirements here, right? So whenever you're trying to purchase the laptop, the very first thing that you need to analyze is why I'm doing this, why I'm purchasing this, what kind of the what kind of the use that I'm trying to do with this. Am I trying to play the games? Am I trying to play the movies? Am I trying to use it just for home purpose or doing some business? Correct. That then the step number two, you need to analyze for to achieve that particular use case, it need more RAM, more hard disk, or more processor. That is where you need to do the second analysis. Then you come for the third. What is the third step? Maybe a costing, right? So what will be the cost for this? Then we need to come for the fourth step. How much warranty, guarantee, all these things will come into the picture. Maybe the fifth step, which is more important. How many of you have experienced this, guys? Like when you are purchasing the laptop, right? The guy will say that, hey, this will support for 3 GB RAM, but additionally you can keep another 12 GB RAM, 12 GB RAM, right? That means you purchase the laptop today with some capacity. After a year, so you realize that no, I think I would have been bought a bigger machine. This is not enough for me. This is running very slowly. So the question is, how easy or difficult for you now to replace the hardware? Today you bought a lap with a, i5 processor, and tomorrow if you wanted to get a i7, how easy it is, guys? Can I go and just put a one more new processor inside? Not really, right? So that means whenever you are maintaining your on-premises data center, right? Initially, your thought process will be different. You purchase the server with some capacity, but later on, whenever your business is growing, then maybe you need to do hardware upgrades, which is not so easy. You need to, right? So, and doing the right planning for the capacity is also not so easy. Considering all these different on-premises challenges, now we are moving towards the cloud model. What is cloud, right? So if you see this image, right, still there is a data center, but now this data center is being managed by a cloud service provider. Who is service provider? Service provider is the terminology that we use here. The service provider is a third party company who will be maintaining this whole data center by their own cost, and whatever the servers that are there in this data center, all the servers will be giving on a rental basis. Just assume like this, correct? So now let's say there's a XYZ company who is actually acting as a service provider. They have their own data center with some servers. Now I want to run my shopping portal business. I need one server. What I do? I don't want to build my own data center and run my own servers. I'll approach this service provider. Hey, service provider, you have a lot of servers in your data center. Can you give me one server for me with this capacity so that I want to run a business. So you just go and get the required capacity from these guys and just use that for your business, run the business, run the website. That's it. You never worry about building your own data center completely. Got me? Then whenever you are taking the help of the service providers to get the required servers capacity on rent basis, right? So whatever you want, you go and get it for rent and use it and run the business, right? You never worry about the data center, physical security, logical security, warranty. All these things will now go away because that is something will be handled by the service provider by their own, right? We don't need to worry. Got me? So that model is called as a cloud model. That's it. The, the people put the name called cloud is mean that the data center rather you maintain yourself, that is being maintained by someone else. You just go and get the required capacity whatever you wanted to. Don't worry about managing the whole stuff, right? So that is what is called as a cloud model. So the advantage with the cloud model, right? So the third party service provider company will take care of the whole data center maintenance. They will give some IP address kind where you use that and do your business. That's it. So that means customer manage. If you see that I'm splitting these two things, the data center managing by the service provider company and whatever the business that you wanted to run, you still do that, but you just access the servers managing by the service provider using the internet or maybe other networking stuff and do your goal. My job is done. My purpose is achieved no matter whether I manage the data center or someone else is managing the data center, right? My goal is achieved. Good to know. So just to go with the slides, right? So if the service providers are managing the data center for you, right, then the security required, like provisioning the more number of servers when needed, right, increasing the required volume, I mean to say hard disk capacity if needed, right? If one server is crashes for any reason, keeping one more server for you automatically, kind of high availability, right? And ensuring that the entire data center is up and running and will not have any issues, kind of the service level agreements. All these things will now take care of by the service provider company itself for you. So hence the reason the shared responsibility model is one more terminology that come into the picture now. Just to conclude the topic here, right? If it is an on-premises data center, it's a business owner responsibility to take care of everything. Let's say tomorrow my server is down, hard disk is down, processor is not working, whatever it is, you have to take care of. But now when it comes to the cloud model, right? Let's say there is an issue with the data center. Do you be responsible for that, guys? When I say you, right? So whoever is actually running the business using this web app, right? The the shopping portal web app. So let's say I'm the owner of the shopping portal web application, right? I'm doing the business with that. So do I need to worry about if there is something wrong in the data center? Not really, right? So that is taken care by the service provider company because I'm paying for them just for giving the service. Make sense? So the shared responsibility model is a terminology that come into the picture whenever the the infrastructure is being maintained by the service provider companies. Is it make sense, guys? I'm just slowly replacing my terminology, rather using the term called data center. Now I'm using the term called infrastructure. Will that make sense? Same, right? Because inside the data center, infrastructure only, nothing else, right? So that means the cloud computing means, right, the required infrastructure resources are being maintained by the service providers and those are providing this infrastructure as a service model to the customers. You as a customer can go and get the infrastructure and pay for the infrastructure whatever you needed and run your business. Does that make sense, guys, the statement? Okay, what is cloud computing? Still there is a question mark there. Okay, so maybe I ask here. Okay, so somehow the service providers are actually managing their own data center, and they are giving the required server to you over the internet or somehow. So the server is accessible, you do something and your business is running. Now the question for you, right? You as a business owner, do you really worry about where is your server, how the data center, where the data center? Do you really worry about all this? No, right? I never worry about the data center and where the servers are there, how the servers are there, how they are racked into things. I never worry about it. As long as my www.edshopper.com website is working, my business is running, I'm good. I don't really worry about where the data center and how the servers maintained, correct? So as the infrastructure is completely transparent, infrastructure is completely invisible for me, I really will never worry about that wherever it is there. That concept, the people call it as a cloud, nothing much. Make sense? Because cloud in the sense what? There's something in the sky which we don't know what it is, how it is, until unless I go and reach there, right? So from distance, it is just something is there and something is operated over there, right? The people has put the name called cloud for this model as well, nothing much. That means infrastructure is somewhere else, someone is maintaining, we don't know where it is, how it is, but my purpose is done. I'm getting one server through internet and I'm able to make my business good. Then what is computing? Computing in the sense of the processor and memory. Usually whenever you are doing something with your computers, right, the systems or servers, processor and memory are the two important things which will be executing your things, right? Whatever you are asking the computer to do. So the computing terminology refers to processor and the memory. So going forward, I'm going to use the terminology called compute resources. Wherever I'm using the term called compute resources, which refers to processor and the memory. Is it clear? Now, when I say cloud compute, the cloud compute in the sense the required processor and memory resources are being managed by the service providers in somewhere which we don't need to worry about how they are being managed. That model is called as a cloud computing. The same thing I'm just trying to put together in a different ways, guys, nothing much, right? And that's the difference between on-premises and the cloud computing model. Which one do you prefer? On-premises or the cloud computing model to run your business, right? So we need to see the differences, which one has more advantages and the disadvantages. I would say the cloud computing model has a lot of advantages because you don't need to worry about maintaining the data center by your own. So everything is handled by someone else. You just take the capacity and run your business. You don't worry about any of this. But the disclaimer here is the when it comes to the security part, on premises has a lot of good security compared to the cloud, hence the reason. So whichever the customers who are actually looking for the security standpoint, more security, the people will definitely prefer the on premises, though there is a risk in maintaining the data center by their own, but still they need more security. Yes, they will go with their own on premises data centers, guys. If they are okay for the security part, the people will prefer the cloud computing infrastructure. Make sense? Being said that, right? So most of the banking related businesses or the financial related businesses will be preferring to use the on-premises servers only to store their customers' data. Correct? As of today, you are logging into your bank account and able to see your financial data. That data is everything is stored somewhere, right? So that data is storing it into specific servers in a specific data centers. that data center should be secured, then only your transactions will be secured, right? So whoever is really looking for the security, they are going for on premises, and whoever is okay, then come for the cloud. Now, so it's not mean that the cloud is not providing the security. The cloud is providing the security, but not as much as compared to the on premises. That's what I am trying to, right? Now I'll give you a simple reason. Maybe usually I don't like to give the non-technical examples because that will be unrelated. But let me give you one non-related example here to understand why cloud will not do that. What will be the things like? I'll tell like this. Okay. Let's say you wanted to construct a home, right? If you want to construct the home, there are two options. One, you go and find one service provider who is now called as a realtor or builder, right? Hey, I just need a house. I'll pay for you. Can you do whatever is needed and give me the house? That's one option. There is no risk involved, right? They have their own pattern, they have their own model, they have their own make and customization. They will do something and they will give you the home. Just take it, enter. That's one option. The second option, on premises. You do your analysis, you do your own requirement, you put some time, invest the time, you build yourself, you do the groundwork, you make more customization however you wanted to. Got me? So there are two different kinds, right? So whoever is looking for on-premises, yes, they have their more control in it, right? Whatever the level of security that they wanted to, whatever the level of customization that they wanted to, they can do all of these to meet their business needs. When it comes to the cloud, or when I go to the service provider, right, we don't have that much options. Got me? The service provider is already setting certain things. Hey, if you come to me, these are the specifications that you will be getting. Are you okay or not? If you are okay with this, come to me, or else no. Hope you are trying to understand me, right? So the reason I'm giving this example, right, because I don't want to go into too much technical now, because we don't know what those technicalities that we are going to cover in the upcoming lectures, right? That's the reason. So at the end of the day, if it is on premises, it's up to you, because it's your data center. You can do whatever the level of security, whatever the level of customization that you wanted to do. Cloud, we don't have much options, so you need to rely on the service provided features only. Would that make sense, guys? Yes. Yes or no? No, yes, yeah. That makes sense, right? That's what it is. So I would say yes, the 70% of the folks are actually preferring to go with the service provider option. They don't want to take risk. 30% of people still prefer to go with on-premises because they wanted to do their own customization and make it tuned to their business needs accordingly. That's how it is. Why I'm spending time here. Tomorrow, when you get into the DevOps engineer role in any company, I'm sure you may be working on-premises, you may be working on cloud. Though you are learning AWS today, there is no guarantee that you will be working on AWS tomorrow, guys. You may be working on-premises as well. That's the reason I'm spending some time to understand the differences too. But don't worry, whatever you are learning here will be the same to work in on-premises, to work in no, the uh, cloud service provider. There will be a slightly 5% difference there and there, but most likely your technology will be the same. Hence the reason when you get into the job, sometimes they may ask you to work on the on-premises servers only, but still you are capable, guys, to work there as well. So I'm just giving more information about these things. Good. Now the conclusion point here is the service provider is the third party companies who are actually managing the data centers by their own, right? Now let me name them. right? The Amazon company is actually constructing their own data centers, maintaining their own infrastructure, and they are offering the whole required infrastructure as a service using the product called AWS, right? Like that, Microsoft company is managing the whole infrastructure by their own and giving the infrastructure as a service using the product called Azure. Google company is acting as a service provider and maintaining their own data centers and giving this infrastructure as a service, right? Using the product called Google Cloud. Like that, there are n number of different service provider companies are there in the market who are acting as a cloud service providers and giving this infrastructure on a rental basis, I would say. Out of all these different cloud service providers, AWS is our pickup, right? So I would say from the ranking perspective, AWS is on top from the kind of the features and the flexibility that they are offering. The second place is Azure, and the third place is Google, and then so on, so on, right? So though the companies are different, the all the three major cloud providers are goal is same. They are just offering some infrastructure. Maybe we just need to go and get the things. Like how the differences will be from one builder to another builder. Both are giving houses. They have their own strategy, right? Something like that. Usually, if you learn one AWS technology, it's very easy to learn the other two technologies, other two cloud providers. But for now, let us stick to AWS Cloud. We'll see how AWS Cloud is offering all these requirements for us to run our business. Now, I'm going to give you a statement here. My goal is I wanted to run www.edshopper.com to run my online business. But I don't want to purchase the servers and maintain a data center by my own. That's where now I'll take the help of AWS, which is the infrastructure as a service provider by Amazon company, and I'll get some servers from them and I'll use that servers and do some configuration, and finally I'll make my website live. Make sense, guys? That's a statement. That's where we need to now learn how to use AWS, how to get the servers, how to configure them, all these things. We'll get there. So to kickstart, to to get started with AWS, right? So this is the map that I wanted to show you. Okay. So now AWS is actually maintaining the data center, right? Data center. So if you see, look, this diagram, right? This old map. Okay. So the the blue color, wherever you see the blue color in this map, right? Those are the regions where AWS has already constructed the data centers and kept the servers there, and those servers they are offering to the customers as a service model, kind of a rental model, right? I would say, right? So you see here, wherever you see the blue color, those are the regions. Region is a terminology that refers to the geographical location in the globe where AWS is maintaining some data centers and offering that infrastructure services to the users. Make sense? Good. Why do they have multiple regions like this? Obviously, right? The AWS is giving the servers to entire world. It's not possible to keep one data center at one place and offering it for entire world, right? It's not so easy. So they are actually managing multiple data centers like this in different places and offering the services to the users. Good. now. So let's say now I need one server from AWS, right, to run my business. Now I can choose a decision like I wanted to get a server from which region. You see the regions. So Hyderabad is one region, Mumbai is one region, I would say Canada, right? And somewhere I would say Ohio in US, something like this, right? So I can choose from which region of data center I need a server. I can choose and I can tell to AWS that, hey, I need one server. I need from so and so region. Can you give it to me? So AWS will give the server from that data centers only possible. There are more reasons why the AWS is maintaining multiple data centers like this in different regions. We'll get to there as well, right? Wherever the red color that you see, those are like, I think AWS is currently doing the construction there. They're doing some, they may be constructing big buildings and all. They are planning to keep the servers there, and that is still going on. So soon those will come back to online. Good. Now, now let me pick one particular region. Let's say Ohio. Okay. So Ohio is the region where AWS is maintaining some data centers. Now let's say I'll go to AWS. Hey AWS, I need one server from Ohio data centers. Can you give it to me? Okay. AWS will give one server to you and you use the server, and it's an online server, right? You access the server through internet only, right? You take the server, you use it for your business, all good. What is the case if the data center that is currently in Ohio is got collapsed for whatever the reason? Possible, right? Data center is the physical location. There should be a natural calamities, a tsunami, earthquake, or whatever it is. For some reason, maybe a short circuit, right? For some reason, the data center got completely collapsed. What will happen, guys? Your server also gone, correct? Whatever the server that you took, the server is in that same data center, and the data center itself is gone, and your server is gone. If your server is gone, obviously your website is down, obviously your business is down. It's all affected. Got it? It's a credibility problem, right? So what AWS says that, right? Hey, you take the server from me, right, and you never experience any issues. Even if the data center is completely collapsed for any technical or any reason, still your server will be there, your application will be there, your website, at least forget about server applications. Finally, my goal is my www.edshopper.com website should be working, right? So these guys will offer you that your website will continue to be running no matter what is happening in the corresponding data center. How that's possible, right? So to provide that kind of the high availability, right? I can call it as a high availability, right? What is high availability? No matter what is happened, still it is available to you to run your business, right? So what AWS says that, right, in each region, rather maintaining one data center, they do maintain multiple data centers. From AWS language perspective, the data center is called as a availability zone. Okay, availability zone is a technical terminology of AWS which refers to data center. I would say availability zone is equal to data center. Both are same, guys. So now onwards, rather me using the data center terminology, I will start using the availability zone terminology. So AWS, rather keeping one availability zone, they do keep multiple availability zones. Why? If one availability zone is crashed for any reason, don't worry, your business will run from another availability zone, whatever is available in the same region. That's where the high availability is being maintained within the region itself. How do they do this? it's up to AWS. We don't need to worry at this time. Let them figure it out, whatever they do. But for us, my website is working always, even if one of the availability zone is failed, right? So what I'm trying to, each region is actually filled with multiple availability zones, right? And for high availability purpose, right? And here you can see the number. Ohio is running with 3 availability zones. Um, I would like to go with one more. Yeah, here you can see that the Northern Virginia is actually running with the 6 availability zones. What I'm trying to prove here, the number of availability zones that they are running in each region are not constant. Could be 2, could be 3, could be 6. It's up to them how many they wanted to based on the business that they have. But minimum 2 will be there, because if one is down, your website should run, right? Good. So if you are interested on the numbers at this time, there are 32 regions as of today, and 102 number of availability zones across the globe at this time. That's the big infrastructure that the AWS is maintaining, which is now called as a AWS Global Infrastructure. Looks good. Now, so this is where we need to understand the region and availability zone terminology, guys. If you look into this slide, right? So each AWS region is actually identified using the region ID. Okay. So let's say sometime back I have shown you Ohio, Hyderabad, Mumbai, North Virginia, right? Those are the names of the cities, right? In which city the data centers are there. But rather using the city names, each and every region, they labeled a specific ID. You see here, US East 1, that is the ID that AWS has given for one of the region. US West 1 is another region. Like that, every city that they have a data center, they have given one region ID. In the each region, whatever the availability zones that they do have, that that availability zone also has a ID. You see here, US East 1 region has 3 zones. US East 1A, 1B, 1C. These are the zone IDs, just for identifying the zones. US West 1 as the region ID, it has the zones. US East, sorry, US West 1A, 1B, 1C are the zone IDs, just for identifying them. Now, technically, the AWS is having the connectivity between all these availability zones, guys. You see this arrow mark, that means what? Like in this particular city, they do have 3 data centers. All these 3 data centers are actually separated with some 40 miles away or 40 kilometers distance, something like that. Maybe one side of the city, one data center, another side of the city, another data center, something like that. They will plan so that if one is affected, the other one will be there for you to up and running, right? That's how it is. Okay. Now all the availability zones which are in the same region are connected by the cables. Usually they do some underground cable from one availability zone to another availability zone. All of them are connected, guys, through the network. That's how they manage, so that if one availability zone is not working, the other availability zone is there for you to run the business. That's the strategy. But from one region to another region, there is no connectivity. You see here, From US East 1 to US West 1, there is no connectivity, right? So this, the connectivity is there between the availability zones within the same region, but not to the different region altogether. That is called as a AWS global infrastructure, regions, availability zones, and their terminology. Now, if you look into this page, right, you see Ohio region is labeled as US East 2. North Virginia region is labeled as US East 1. Like that, every region has its own region code, guys. Right? We just need to go there and see the corresponding code, which code is given for which region, city, right? That's it. That's how it is. Good. So being said that, now onwards, right, I will not refer the name of the region, rather I will be referring the region code only. Let's say I want to create some server on Ohio region, I'll just use US East 2, that's it. Yeah, so that's the introduction about AWS global infrastructure. How to get started with? Now we know the basic stuff of AWS. Hey AWS, now I need one server in US East 1 region for running my business. How to get the server, right? To get a server from this region in one of the availability zone, right? You need to have a account created in this website. You see, aws.amazon.com is a web portal which you need to access, and here you can see sign into the console, right? And here you can see create a new account, right? Then it will ask you some couple of details. What is your email ID? What is the password? What is the AWS account name that you wanted to set, right? You just need to follow this a sign up process and create account. Once you create account, then you need to logging into this account by using your email ID and specify the password, whichever the password that you have used for sign up. Once you log into your AWS account, this is how your page will be looking at, right? So this is called as a AWS management console, right? Whatever you see now, this page, this window is called as a AWS management console. From this console, you can do all the things whatever you wanted to, right? Let's say I logged in now, right? I need a server, correct? I need a server from which region, correct? So in the right side, you can see the top right side, we can see all the different regions where AWS is offering the infrastructure. So go and select the region code from there, then the AWS will give the server from that specified selected region only. That's how we need to choose the region selection, guys. Good. So here I'm not showing exactly how to create a AWS account because I have my own account already, right? I just logged in, right? So I'm not creating a AWS account. I'm not showing exactly how to create a AWS account, but so easy, right? So you just go and follow the steps while you are creating a AWS account, which is free, guys. Okay, we don't need to pay anything. But to make it more easier, right? In the learning notes, in the AWS introduction tab, here I have shown you how to create a AWS account.